Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm also doing good.
Uh,
Okay, so we had started the new chapter in the batch in the last class. We discussed a few basic things in the chapter. Okay, the chapter name is Conservation of Plants and Animals, which we have started. So first of all, we need to really understand the meaning of the word conservation. Like, what exactly does it mean? Okay, then why there is need of conservation of plants and animals? How the plants and animals are important? Okay, na? Do they have some important role to play in our lives? Are they helping in maintaining balance in the nature? What is their role? Hmm?
Role.
So we'll be learning about such
We'll be
things.
learning about such things.
Someone's mic is on and like my voice is reverberating. Please turn it off. I guess it's yours, Priyanka, I believe. 1 minute. And these are the topics that we're going to be learning in the class. Okay, now all of you turn your cameras on. Priyanka, Duha, all of you turn your cameras on. So these are the topics we're going to be learning in the chapter. But first of all, let's learn about like what does the word conservation even mean? And in context of plants and animals, what does it mean? Right now? Because the word conservation, okay, it will carry different meanings for different things. Okay, now? Like there is conservation of coal and petroleum also. So in the case of coal and petroleum, it will have a slightly different meaning. And here we are talking about conservation of plants and animals. So conservation of plants and animals means that protecting them in their natural habitats, right? Protecting them in their natural habitats. Why do we need to protect them? So that they don't go extinct. Okay, na? In the past, we have numerous examples of species that have gone extinct because of exploitation by the humans, because of excessive poaching, excessive killing. Okay, na? Right? So due to excessive killing of the animals, some animals may go extinct. Okay, na? Some animals may go extinct. Their population will decline. There'll be imbalance in the ecosystem, and it can even lead to extinction of certain species. Okay, na? Can you guys recall about? Do you guys know about some of the species of plants and animals that have gone extinct? Huh? Think about dodo bird, right? Dodo bird is an extinct bird. Okay, and dodo, it was a flightless bird, right? It cannot flight. It cannot fly. Okay, na?
Sir,
And in yeah,
sir, all dinosaurs.
obviously dinosaurs, right? And what else? Yeah, dinosaurs are there. You have dodo bird. Then also
so
we
the
have some
kiwi bird gonna go extinct.
kiwi bird.
Yeah,
Kiwi bird
it's
is
it all.
also extinct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
Mm-hmm.
So one whole.
Kiwi bird, I think maybe it is still found. I believe kiwi
Yeah, and only a few places.
only in few places. Like it's extremely endangered. Okay, na? It's on the verge of extinction. If it is not protected, it may become extinct. The population is very less. Okay. Yeah, I was saying that we have this golden toad also. Yeah. Yes, Mustafa.
One kind of.
Hey, Mustafa, your voice is stucking. Mustafa, your voice is stucking. Rejoin the class. So the word conservation here means protecting the animals or protecting even the plants in their natural habitat. Okay, now so that we can prevent them from extinction and we ensure that they continue to survive on this planet Earth. We ensure that they will be present in the future generations also. Okay. Now the question is that why should plants be conserved? Why should plants be conserved and why should animals be conserved? They must have some important role. Again, I'm seeing all of it on your cameras on. Abu Bakr, Priyanka, Doha, Mustafa, you there? All of you keep your cameras on. Priyanka and Abu Bakr. I won't be repeating a very basic thing every time in the class. Keep your cameras on. So now the question is that why should plants be conserved? Plants must have some important role to play. As a child, you would have learned about various roles of the plant. Now, provide plants, they provide oxygen to us, right now. Namely, you know about the Amazon rainforest is called as green lungs of the earth, right, Doha? Amazon rainforest is called as green lungs of the earth, right? So they
Yes.
maintain balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the air now. Okay. Also, plants would be absorbing lots of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, na? They will be absorbing carbon. Okay. Then they are source of food and medicine, right? Not only we are getting edible things from the plant, but also we are getting herbal medicines. We are also getting latex, right, etc. Further, they maintain ecological balance. Okay, na? So we need to understand like what is the meaning of the word ecology here. Okay, na? So ecology means basically the relationship between the living organisms like we humans, animals, and their physical environment. Okay, na? Ecology talks about the relationship between the animals and the environment in which they live. That is what ecology means. So plants are important. If there will be plants, then there will be balance between the plants and their and the environment in which they live, because plants helps in maintaining the surrounding also. How so? How they'll be maintaining it? Because the climate of a given place depends upon the vegetation in that area. If there is rich vegetation, there will be the water cycle will be there. Because of oh, internet is bad. Okay, no worries. You can type the questions here in the chat box. Okay, Mustafa, I hope my voice is reaching you. Okay, so I was saying
Yes, sir.
that the vegetations will be playing an important role in water cycle, and due to water cycle there will be precipitation, there will be rainfall in that area. So hence the the physical features of that area will be determined. So plants will also help in maintaining a ecological balance in the nature. Then plants prevent soil erosion, they support wildlife, they are home to a wide variety of animals, they reduce carbon dioxide in the air. And what is the harmful effect of carbon dioxide? Everyone knows that it is a greenhouse gas. Okay, na? You got the half yearly chemistry portion. Okay, you can type it there in the chat box, Mustafa. Okay, so it absorbs carbon dioxide gas. Currently, what is the composition of carbon dioxide gas in the air? Anyone knows how much of CO2 is there in the atmosphere? Priyanka, Doha,
21%.
carbon dioxide. I'm saying not oxygen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
2%.
Hmm?
So I think 0.2 or something.
No, it's 0.04%. Okay, how much, Doha? It is 0.04%.
0.04%.
Okay, in old books you will get to see that it was 0.03%, but now it has increased to 0.04%. Okay. Okay, which gas has the maximum composition of air?
So
Nitrogen,
can you say
Nitrogen. How much?
71%.
71%?
71%. What are you saying? 78%, no? Huh, Priyanka? Nitrogen is 78%. And how much oxygen?
21%.
21%. Okay. Other than these three gases, there are some other gases also present in the atmosphere. Like you have neon, you have argon, neon, etc. Okay, you have heard about neon gas. It is used in the light bulbs. It is used. Okay, no? Particularly in the colorful light bulbs, neon gas is filled. Okay. Further, they are adding beauty to the nature also, and they hold some cultural value also, right? Even like some plants in certain culture are considered sacred, right? No, right, Priyanka? You'd be aware like the plants like people, right? It is sacred in the Hindu mythology, in the Hindu relation, right? So that's the thing. Then talking about animals, that why they need to be conserved. Hmm? So they are also important in maintaining balance in the nature. They will help in pollination and seed dispersal, right? Okay. Then they provide food and useful materials, right? Certain animals are edible. The meat of certain animals are not only the meat, but even the milk producing, milk giving animals, right? The milking animals. From them we get meat. Poultry. In that we have like we are getting the egg and the meat as well. Okay. Further,
Yes.
certain animals would be supporting farming and agriculture. Like back in the day, like in the earlier days when we did not had the modern equipment, so the bullocks, right now the bullocks were used to do what? What were the bullocks
To
used for?
carry us and goods.
To carry the goods, good, and also they were used for loosening the soil, right now, plowing the soil. Getting it? Further, they also indicate health of the environment. Like how the presence of animal in a given area will indicate the health of the environment. Think about this.
Mom, some animals eat grass. So
Hmm.
to know about the environment, they also inhale oxygen, right? So they'll be outside more than us. So they'll know the environment more.
No, the thing is that they indicate health of the environment. Like how they will indicate the health of the environment. Indicating health. It's not like they are cleaning the. Although there are some animals that they will, like they are scavengers, they will clean the environment. The question here is that how animals indicate the health of the environment. How can I try to understand this thing? Getting it, Abu Bakr, Priyanka, what the question is asking? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
See, by monitoring the population of the animal, by looking at the population of the animal in a given area, their behavior, their overall health, we can get a understanding of the overall condition of that environment. Okay, na? Also, animals can also reveal the presence of, like, suppose if their habitat is being like damaged, the environment is being damaged, the plants are being cut down. Okay, now there is the water in that area is polluted, so there'll be less presence of animals in that area, right, Doha? Getting it, Priyanka? Everyone getting it now?
Yes.
If the water bodies are polluted, so less animals would be there, less fish would be there in that water body. So the number of animals present in that area will also indicate the health of the environment, like if the environment is good or bad. More animals means that environment is good, because that environment is fulfilling all the requirement of the animals. Less animals means that that environment is not fulfilling the requirement of the animals. Okay, that is the thing. Then the animals also have cultural and emotional value, right? They also add beauty to the nature. So for these reasons they need to be conserved. Okay. And I believe like some basic things we already have discussed, like atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, you already know, right now. And the life supporting zone of the earth, where these three different zones will be interacting with each other to make life possible. What do we call that? When these
Biosphere.
three different zones
Biosphere.
interact, that is biosphere. Okay. Also, biosphere is not like some physical structure. Getting it now? It's made up of the culmination of these three different things. The interaction of these three different things makes up biosphere. Okay. Biodiversity we have learned. Okay. We learned about the wildlife also. Then we were learning about the food chain, ecosystem, etc. These things we have discussed. From here, we are supposed to be continuing. So there are various causes of deterioration of the environment. Okay. Further, there are various reasons why, like the animals are declining, the population of animals are declining. One of the reason is deforestation, and deforestation is basically defined as the large scale cutting of the plants on a large scale. Right now, talking about the causes of deforestation, the consequences of deforestation, so they are as follows. causes of deforestation is such that, like, we humans, as the population is increasing, so our demand, our need is increasing. So overpopulation means that the demand of the people is going to increase, right? Okay, then we would be cutting down the trees in order to obtain timber, in order to obtain the log, these big logs of wood to make timber will be further used to make furnitures, right? So trees are felled means basically cut down here for various reasons, like it could be to obtain timber or to obtain firewood for burning and cooking food, right now for cow ranching, etc. Then slash and burn agriculture is also practiced in certain parts of India. You know that what is done in certain parts of India, what the farmers will do if they have to do farming in a given area. Okay, so they will find a forest, they will basically burn down all the trees in that forest. Okay, and then they will leave that area for a few years so that all the ash in that area mixes into the soil and it basically decomposes. Then they will do farming on that area. So that is called as slash and burn agriculture, meaning that they will cut down the trees and then whatever is left over there, they'll be burning it. And it is practiced in northern eastern states of India, and there it is locally called as jhum cultivation. Okay, na? Jhum cultivation. So it has also contributed to deforestation. Getting it, everyone? Okay. Further, as we know that land is a limited resource, like by no means you can expand the land, right now. You cannot stretch out the lands, obviously. Getting it? So one another reason of deforestation is that forests are being cleared down in order to obtain land for construction of the houses, for setting up factories, industries, etc. So for construction of house and other structures also deforestation is being done. Okay. Many times natural causes are also there. There are some natural causes of deforestation also, like forest fire. Okay, now. So when the plants will dry up due to no rainfall for a prolonged period of time, so what will happen? They may catch a fire. When the stem of the plant will be very dry, okay, now. So because of that, if the strong winds, let's say, are flowing in that area, the branches will collide with each other. It will lead to friction and hence will cause enough amount of heat to start a fire. Then there are some other man-made reasons also, some other reasons like mining. If suppose in a given forest, rich amount of, like, a large amount of uranium has been found, or coal has been found, or some other important minerals have been found. Okay, no? Like silicon has been found, or germanium, etc. These are precious minerals. So then that forest should be cleared down and mining will start. So these are some of the causes of deforestation. Causes basically means the reason why deforestation is being done. Then obviously deforestation will have several impact on the environment. Okay, now it will lead to loss of biodiversity. Okay, so deforestation causes increased carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere, meaning that earlier when that area earlier when in this area plants were there was a forest in that area. So in the process of photosynthesis, you guys know that plants take in carbon dioxide, right now. So they were taking in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they were actually reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the air. Getting it, Doha and everyone?
Yes, sir.
But now, since we humans have cut down the trees, we have cut down the trees and cleared the forest. So it will lead to concentration of carbon dioxide in the air now, right now. It will lead to concentration of carbon dioxide gas in the air, since there are no more plants in that area to absorb the carbon dioxide gas. Getting it? So it causes increased carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere. Okay. Then it also causes biodiversity loss owing to habitat destruction. So it leads to biodiversity loss. You might have come across several videos, okay, na, or certain pictures, okay, of animal entering into the households. animal from the wildlife entering into the household. So why do animals have to wander? Sometimes they have to wander into the urban areas. Huh? Like such kind of news are becoming a bit more common nowadays. We get to hear that a lion or some animal entered into the urban areas, enter into the house of the people. So they are doing so because their habitat is being destroyed. So they are left with nowhere to go right now. So it leads to loss of the biodiversity. Biodiversity, you guys understand now? Variation in the living organisms, that is biodiversity. Okay. So since you are basically taking away their home, their habitat, so they will move to another places in order to search for habitable conditions, search for trees or some other things. So it leads to biodiversity loss also. What do we call this animal, by the way? This one? It's one of the slowest
Sloth.
moving animal. That is sloth. Good. Okay. So about 31% of the Earth's land surface. How much? About 31% is covered by the forest. Okay. And deforestation, lead it will directly lead to loss of biodiversity. Okay, now because when the trees will be felled down, so most of the animals will no longer have their habitat, and unlike we humans, they cannot relocate very easily. Right now we can relocate from one city, from one town to another, but animals don't have such means. They cannot relocate. Okay, no? Unless they are birds also they can relocate. So deforestation will lead to extinction of the animals ultimately. Okay, no? Certain animals who are rare, who cannot relocate, they can become extinct. There's a loss of biodiversity. In worst case scenario, it can lead to extinction of certain animals. Then deforestation can also lead to extinction, or like basically certain, it can lead to loss of the biodiversity in this sense, like it can even lead to loss of certain plants also which are very rare. So deforestation can lead certain tree species to permanently disappear, which will affect biodiversity of the plant species also in that area. The more common like usually you would have heard about extinct species like dodo the bird, dinosaur, etc. But there are certain species of plants that have also gone extinct, that are nowhere to be found in the earth. So that is the thing. So it leads to loss of biodiversity also. Next consequence of deforestation is desertification. Okay, desertification. So there are many places on earth which once were fertile lands. Okay, now which once were fertile lands. There was greenery in that area, there were forests in that area, but now it has converted into desert. Okay, now so suppose in a given area there has been no rainfall for a prolonged period of time. For several years there hasn't been any rainfall. So what will happen? We will see that the plants will start to die, the animals in that area will start to die. Right now, getting it? So that condition is called as drought. Drought is a prolonged dry period in the natural climate cycle that can occur anywhere in the world. It is a slow onset disaster. It's a disaster, it's a natural disaster, but it does not happen suddenly. Getting it, Toha? It does not happen suddenly, it happens slowly. Okay, na? So, what happens in drought? There is very less precipitation, very less rainfall, almost no rainfall. So, it will lead to shortage of water, right? So as there will be shortage of water, there will be less amount of trees in that area, right? And there will be uh, less amount of animals, less number of animals living there, right? So it will impact the vegetation of that area. It will also impact the health of the people or the animals living there. Agriculture cannot be done on that area, right? People who are living in that area, their work life, it will be affected. Their job will be affected. So it will lead to loss of economy also. People have to relocate to urban areas in order in search of jobs. Okay, so
Yes,
that
sir.
is draft. That is draft. Okay. And draft affects people in various ways. We'll be learning about that. But the question here is that what are the causes behind the draft? Okay, now what are the causes behind the draft? All if you keep your cameras on. Abu Bakr and Priyanka. So talking about the human causes of the
Like stop. It's stopping.
oh, okay, then no worries. Okay. So talking about the cons yeah, talking about this thing, human causes of the draft. Okay. See, draft can occur naturally also, but it can occur due to human action also. Think about this. What could be the human actions because of which there could be a draft in a given area? Hmm?
So maybe rain. There's not an maybe rain. Maybe not much rain is happening in that area.
But that is a natural cause. I'm saying human causes.
Sir,
So deforestation.
Deforestation, good, and overgrazing by the animals, right? Okay, na? Or let's say the farmers are practicing unsustainable, like they are resorting to
So they're
unsustainable
using
agricultural
fertilizers.
practices. Yeah, we can say so also, right? Indirectly, that will also affect excessive
sir,
use of. Yeah,
sir, dumping chemical waste into the soil,
yeah,
harmful
that
chemical.
yeah, that will lead to infertility of the soil, and the plants will not grow on it. Then it's all interlinked. Excessive irrigation, right? Excessive irrigation, getting it now? Even urbanization can also be a cause, right? Urbanization can also be cause. So we have deforestation, we have overgrazing, we have excessive irrigation, right? Excessive irrigation, like not irrigating the land in the proper manner. Okay. And although already we have moments ago learned about the natural causes, okay, now, other than the human activity, there could, like, climate change is also responsible for desertification. Okay, now, so human causes of the drought, hold on here, it could be deforestation, overgrazing, excessive irrigation, okay, excessive use of chemical fertilizers, okay, and this will be considered as unsustainable agricultural practice, okay, now, because you may profit from the land for
So
only few seasons.
urbanization also.
Urbanization also good. Urbanization, okay. So right now we are learning about the causes of the deforestation. So far we have learned about that causes of deforestation are like, it will not causes, I mean to say consequences, right now. So it leads to increase in concentration of carbon dioxide gas in the air. Okay. Next we learned that it leads to loss of biodiversity, and now we are learning that it leads to draft also. Right now it will lead to draft also. Okay, that is the thing. Then how people are impacted by the draft? If you ever have watched documentaries of people living in the draft, they are living in such a bad state. uh, like we people living in areas where we have access to enough amount of water, we don't even think before wasting water. Right now we don't consider water as a precious resource, right now. But the people who are living in desert areas, water is the most precious resource over there. Getting it? So people are impacted by drought in many ways. There's a risk of famine. Famine, you guys understand now, when there's a shortage
Loss
of
of
food. Exactly. Okay. And because of famine, it will invite malnutrition in children, and not in just children, but even the adults will face from malnutrition. Malnutrition is a condition, is a situation in which the children, or basically people, do not get enough amount of nutrients. Okay, na? So they may suffer from rickets. You know about rickets now? Rickets, different kind of deficiency diseases now. Getting it? So there's a risk of famine. Okay, people on a large scale can suffer from hunger. It will lead to malnutrition. Okay, then it will also lead to increase in diseases also. Then it can lead to wildfires also now. Getting it? If certain plants are there, suppose, and those plants have gone dry. Okay, so sometimes they can catch a fire if the temperature goes very high, and people will have to relocate to another places. They will go to town. They will go move to bigger cities in search of better livelihood, in search of better opportunities. So people are even displaced because of drought. Hope that is clear. Okay, and you know that an area does not convert into desert overnight, right? Now it does not convert into desert in few months or in just 1 or 2 years. Okay, now it's an ongoing process. It takes several years. It can take up to a decade or more than that. Okay, so the process, basically in simple words, the process of conversion, right? The conversion of once a fertile land into a desert is called as desertification. The formation of a desert by erosion of vegetation due to harsh weather is called as desertification. Getting it now? Right? So one of the main cause behind deforestation, behind desertification is climate change. Getting it, guys? And in one or another way, we humans are also responsible for this climate change. Okay, now? Although not everywhere, okay, not everywhere, but generally, in a way, we humans are also responsible for climate change. Okay, na? So if, like, because of climate change, the environmental conditions can become very harsh in a given place, and it may lead to desertification. So human activities like deforestation and improper irrigation are also responsible for desertification of the terrains. Terrains is basically means the land. Okay, now? So not only harsh weather conditions can lead to desertification, but even human activities can lead to it. Okay. Any questions so far?
So you said that 31% of the land has trees.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the rest?
The rest doesn't have, like, the rest is not having, basically the total 31% of the land area is having trees on it. On the remaining portion, like we have made like we have houses on it, we have made industries, schools, some land is barren. So approximately 31% of the Earth's land area it's covered by the forest, and it is representing a significant portion of the planet's surface. Getting it now? Okay, that is the thing. So while 31% is covered by it, and talking about the remaining, so remaining, I would say that some of the land is barren land on which there are no plants growing over there. Getting it? Or it could be basically deserts, mountains. Getting it, Doha? Okay, na? And
Yes.
like even the land over which there's frozen ice, okay, na, thick sheets of frozen ice, like the Antarctica, that will also be included into land only, no? Getting it? So that's the thing. So far we have learned about that. Consequences of deforestation we learned, although this topic is not completed yet. So we learned that it can lead to increase in carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere. It will lead to loss of biodiversity, and we learned about drought and desertification. Okay. Further, it will lead to global warming also. It will disrupt the hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle, in simple words, this is referring to water cycle. Okay. It will even lead to soil erosion. Okay. Desertification, we already have discussed that. Okay, now here in this image, you can see in this mind map, you can see like these are some of the effects or consequences or effects, same thing. Okay, like loss of biodiversity, increase atmospheric carbon dioxide gas, wildfire. It can even lead to flooding in that area. it will disrupt the water cycle. It will lead to drought. Okay, it will cause desertification. Next here is global warming. So global warming, as you know, basically when the overall temperature of the globe on which we are living, it increases. Basically, the average temperature of the Earth is increasing, right? So that is called as global warming. Global warming, in which the temperature of the Earth's surface and the temperature of the atmosphere will be increasing. Okay, no? Right? And this is disrupting the climate. Okay, now this is disrupting the climate. The climate pattern has now, to a significant degree, in the recent years, the climate pattern has changed. Okay, now so global warming is the term used to describe a gradual increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and even the oceans. Okay, a change that is believed to be permanently changing the Earth's climate. So because of global warming, the Earth's climate is changing. Okay, na? And there has been such a change in the climate, or such a change in the climate is going to happen in the upcoming future, that it will be very difficult to reverse it. Okay, na? It will be very difficult to reverse it. Okay, and here the annual temperature record of the different places on Earth is shown from the year 1951 to 1980. This is just for comparison. You can look at these areas. The one that is in dark red color, no, that is that these areas have recorded extreme temperatures. Okay, na? They have recorded extremely high temperatures. So hope you guys can see this thing over here. Okay. Further, you guys know about greenhouse effect, right? How it is interlinked with the global warming, right? So this greenhouse effect is interlinked with the global warming. Also, I believe that you guys know about the greenhouse gases also. What are the different greenhouse gases? Name some of them.
Carbon dioxide,
Right.
methane,
Good. And carbon monoxide, chlorofluorocarbon, right? These
There's
are the,
hydrogen, helium.
yeah, hydrogen, helium, they also, right? So all of these are the greenhouse gases. Okay. In order to understand the greenhouse effect, you should know that there are some structures. Okay, hold on. All of you guys know about the greenhouse or not?
Yes,
Heard
sir.
about greenhouse? Okay, no? So it's a physical structure, okay, in which glass roofs are used. Okay, no? Sometimes even the polythenes can be used, but usually glass roofs are used in that house. It's kind of a house, okay, no? Kind of a house, not made up of bricks, okay, but made with the use of plastics, polythenes, and glass. Priyanka, you're trying to say something?
no, sir.
Okay. And in that, the special thing about the greenhouse is that you can grow the plants in off season. You can grow the plants inside the greenhouse in the off season. Like even in the winters, you can grow the plants that generally grows in the summer season. Getting it, Doha? Getting it, Abu Bakr? So how do you
Yes.
maintain the temperature? You're not going to use a heater or something that will consume so much of energy. So what happens? The sun's rays that enters inside the greenhouse. Let's say this is a greenhouse which I'm trying to draw over here. Inside this, we have grown different plants. Suppose these are the sun's rays that are entering inside it. Okay. So the heat energy present in the sun's rays is trapped. Heat is trapped inside it. Okay, it does not escapes from the greenhouse. So in this manner, the internal temperature of the greenhouse is increased, and it is sufficient, okay, for these plants to grow. Right now, this greenhouse effect, it's the same type of effect, but happening on a very large scale, happening on this planet Earth. So what happens as the sun's rays falls onto the Earth? Okay, now so most of the sun's radiation, most of the solar radiation is absorbed by the Earth's surface, right now, and it is necessary also. Otherwise, the planet Earth would be a cold planet. So some of the solar radiation is important. So it will keep the surface of the Earth warm. Okay, and what happens? Some of the radiation is emitted back into the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, now like infrared radiation is emitted by the Earth's surface into the atmosphere. Okay, so you can understand in the following manner, like the heat is falling onto the Earth's surface, some of the heat is absorbed and some of the heat is released back into the atmosphere. Okay, so some of the infrared radiation passes through the atmosphere, while some of them will be absorbed by the greenhouse gases present in the Earth's atmosphere. There are some gases called as greenhouse gases, like you have learned about carbon dioxide, you have learned about methane, you have learned about chlorofluorocarbons, right? Now you also have learned about carbon monoxide, helium, hydrogen, etc. So these gases will now absorb the heat energy. It will absorb the heat energy. Basically, infrared radiation will be absorbed by it, and it will increase the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and the Earth's surface. So it is leading to a greenhouse effect. Okay, na? Just like here in this greenhouse, the internal temperature was increased. So in the similar manner, these gases here are not letting the heat energy escape into the space. So they are basically trapping the heat energy and increases the Earth's atmosphere and the Earth's surface's temperature. So that leads to greenhouse effect. So as there will be increase in temperature on the Earth globally, so it will lead to melting of polar ice caps. It will lead to melting of glaciers. Right now, glaciers are like glaciers are melting at an alarming rate. Okay, na? It's very concerning because of climate change, because of this global warming. The melting of the glaciers have accelerated, and in the nearby future, it will lead to flooding of the coastal areas. Because if the glaciers are melting, tell me what will happen? What will happen to the sea level?
So
If
the
those
sea level will rise,
exactly, and as the sea level will rise, what will happen to the people living in the coastal areas nearby the sea?
floods will happen.
Water will start flooding the land.
Exactly, flood will be there. Okay, their houses will be damaged. There will be loss of life and property. So that is global warming, and global warming has in its own consequences. Global warming is, in a way, it's a consequence of deforestation, and global warming also has several consequences. Right now, it's increasing temperature. It's leading to um, flooding and so many things. Okay. So these are the different consequences of deforestation. Hope you guys have understood all of this. Like this soil erosion also. Let me complete this one also. This one was left, and hydrological cycle. See, so soil erosion is basically loss of the topsoil. Right now, soil erosion is basically the loss of the topsoil either by the wind or either by the water or either due to deforestation. You all know that the roots of the plants have tiny root hairs on it, and all of these clings onto the soil particles. They'll be holding so much of soil particles. Getting it now, right? And there's several like the hun- sorry, there are hundreds and thousands of trees in the forest, and the roots of all of these trees are branched into the soil, and they are basically holding the topsoil. So if there is a heavy rainfall in that area, if there's a flood, the roots of the plants they hold on to the soil and do not let it wash away with the flood water or with the rainfall. Getting it, everyone? Getting it, Mustafa? But now
Yes, sir.
once you have cut
Yes.
down the trees, once you have cut down the trees, okay, so the roots will no longer be holding on to the soil, right? Due to the flood water or due to heavy rainfall, the topsoil will be easily carried by the water, and it will lead to soil erosion. Then it will be disrupting the hydrological cycle or the water cycle also. You guys try to explain this thing, this one to me one by one. That how will it disrupt water cycle?
Sir, so as we cut down more trees, there'll be um,
Hmm.
so it will reduce the transpiration,
So,
reduce the water vapor in the air, so
Hmm.
it disrupt the water cycle.
Okay, good. Yes, Duha.
so I was gonna say that.
Okay, you are going to say the same thing. Okay, because that is the main reason. Okay, and that is the reason how that is the way how it will be impacting the water cycle. Okay, no, because water cycle in the water cycle, what happens? There is evaporation of water from the water bodies and the vegetation. Okay, so if there are no plants, there won't be transpiration happening in that area. Okay, no, so it will decrease the amount of water vapor present in that area, so there will be less precipitation or no precipitation in that area. So these were the different causes of deforestation. Hope the topic of deforestation is clear to everyone. Okay,
Yes.
just opposite of deforestation is reforestation, right? Okay, so look at the following image here. Okay, this is the outcome of reforestation. Once an area devoid of any forest, like this is the satellite image of an area from the year 2000. You can see it's barely green right now. There are less green patches in this area. Okay, and when deforestation was done in this area, look at the progressed just after 6 years. Okay, you can see more green patches, and by the year 2012, almost the entire area is covered with forest, right? So reforestation is restocking the destroyed forest by planting new trees, right? Okay, if there's a land in which the forest has been cleared out, we go there, we will be basically planting new trees there. Okay, no, so that is simply reforestation. Okay, as you guys can see over here, they were standing forests in that area either due to human activities in order to clear out the land for farming, to make to do construction, or due to wildfire or either people have cut down the trees to obtain timber or log of the wood, right? So due to that, that forest has been lost. Okay, now we are restoring it. We are replanting the forest. So forests are restored in areas where they were previously cleared or burned for agriculture or other purposes. Okay, then plants mixed with native species in order to restore the natural ecosystem can maximize environmental benefits. So while we'll be doing the reforestation, it's not like we will same plant only one kind of trees, right now, because if you will be planting only one type of tree in a given area, that will also harm the ecosystem, because diversity is important in a forest. Getting it now? Diversity is important. So as you can see here, different types of trees has been planted in here. Just hold on, I just got disconnected. Am I audible or not?
There you
Yes,
are.
sir, you are doing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, just 1 minute. Okay, so hope reforestation is clear to everyone. There are some important terms that we need to get familiar with. Okay, like flora and fauna. I hope I am visible. See, the plants and animals that are found in a particular area, right? They are termed as flora and fauna of that area. And different areas will have different flora and fauna. Okay, now? So flora refers to all the different types of plants growing in that area at a particular period of time. So that is called as flora. And fauna refers to all the different types of animal life of a given particular area in a given period of time. That is referred to as fauna. And generally, two different habitats will have different flora and fauna. Right now, like aquatic habitat will have a different type of flora and fauna in comparison to forest areas, in comparison to tropical rainforest or deciduous rainforest or the grasslands, right now, etc. Again, the question is the same question which we have discussed in the beginning. Like, what is the importance of flora and fauna? Or in simple words, the importance of plants and animals. Okay. Mustafa, you read the given paragraph from here.
Flora and fauna are very important for human existence. The flora liberates oxygen that is consumed by the fauna for respiratory activities. Fauna, in turn, liberates carbon dioxide consumed by flora for photosynthesis. Flora and fauna usually benefit mankind through its medicinal and food offerings.
Okay. Doha, you tell me how flora and fauna are benefiting each other. The answer is there in this paragraph, by the way. How are
Yes,
they
sir.
benefiting each other? How
So
flora?
first of all, yeah. Yeah, fauna helps us as for example, scavengers are there in forests that help in cleaning the forest by eating the dead remains of animals. And flora is very important as it takes the carbon dioxide and uses it for making food. Also helps in giving us food, and it also fauna, for example, elephant tusks are used to make medicine, and plants also, like herbal plants are used in making medicines too. So that's how it's helped.
Okay, but the question particularly was about flora and fauna. How flora refers to groups of plants that are found in a given area in a specific time, and fauna refers to the different groups of animals living in that area at a specific time. Okay, na? So how these two are benefiting each other? Getting the question how plants are benefiting the animals and how animals are benefiting the plants.
So some animals eat plants,
Hmm.
and some animals eat plants. So that helps in the survival. And some, for example, some not only plants but sometimes trees. Some animals live inside trees, like birds, and sometimes, yeah. And also animals help plants as so I don't know.
Okay. Anyone else? See, the answer is there in the given paragraph only. The flora liberates oxygen. Liberates means gives out. In which process they give out oxygen? In respiration, transpiration, or photosynthesis? Yeah. The
Yes,
plants
sir.
gives out oxygen in which process? I have asked a question. In in photo,
Photosynthesis.
photosynthesis. Okay. And then that oxygen given out by the plants is consumed by the animals for respiratory activities. Now, fauna refers for animals. And the
Yes.
fauna, that is animal, in turn, they releases carbon dioxide gas into the air, and that carbon dioxide gas is consumed by the plants for photosynthesis. Getting it or not?
Yes, sir.
Let
Yes,
me
sir.
show it with the help of a diagram again. See, basically, the plants, what they are doing. Okay, so they are liberating oxygen into the atmosphere, right? And now we animals, like we humans, even we are also considered animals only, right? We fit under the definition of animals. So we are taking in the oxygen for carrying out respiration. And in respiration, what are the products of respiration? Tell me.
Carbon dioxide.
Okay, carbon dioxide. Okay. And not only carbon dioxide, but even water. Water and energy is also given out. Nonetheless, carbon dioxide is taken up by the plant. So here both of them are dependent upon one another, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then we humans majorly benefit from the plants. We animals majorly benefit from the plants because we are not only getting oxygen from the plants, but also getting food, but also getting medicines, etc. Okay. Again, getting to the same topic about conservation of forest and wildlife now, right? So, due to the threat from mankind's indulgence, Like now we are indulging more into the forest. We are clearing out the forest. We are obtaining timber for um, making furnitures and whatnot. So it has now become very important for us to conserve the forest and the wildlife. You guys tell me, were there any wildlife sanctuaries or national parks or zoological garden or botanical gardens or any sort of such areas or biosphere reserves 200 years ago? Tell me. Think about this. Were there
Yes.
any national parks 200 years ago or zoological garden?
No.
No,
Yes. There were
they
gardens.
they were not. No, hardly. I would say they might have been any. So now it became the need because of exploitation of the forest, exploitation of the wildlife. Now also because of the indulgence of the